Hey y'all, how's it going in the new year? My name is Tendajiuy, and in 2023, I finally decided to get onto YouTube. It has been a really rough journey to get up the confidence to come on here and record a video, but I think it's about damn time. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about stepping into your purpose and truly understanding ourselves and the value we bring into this world. So a little background about me is that I'm a 26-year-old untraditional college student studying to get my bachelor's in urban planning at the University at Buffalo. I was born and raised in Bronx in New York City. Shout out to everybody in the BX. Um, and I recently just graduated with my associates in renewable energy technology. After I graduated high school back in 2014, I didn't really have a lot of money to be able to afford to go to college right away. And I didn't have a lot of guidance to be able to understand scholarships and different ways of paying for college. So I decided to go right off to work. And I've worked in every field imaginable, whether it be a waiter, food service, communications, administration, program quality, community engagement, so many different fields that allow me to get up the confidence and knowledge and maturity to really understand when my moment was to go back to college. But my ultimate goal is to become an urban planner professionally and work towards the equitable and sustainable redevelopment of existing neighborhoods so that we can build out whether it's housing, affordable housing, reliable public transportation, abundant communal spaces, abundant green spaces, just communities that are informed by the very people who are going to live in them. And trust me, knowing what path to go on, knowing what people to take on that journey, and even how to take that first step and realizing what we were meant to do in this life can be a daunting task. But with a little bit of guidance and a lot of trust in our own ability, we can be confident in taking the captaincy in our own lives. Moving on to the first part of this video, which is building up our self worth. So for me, growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. Born and raised in the South Bronx, I didn't have a lot of resources to learn new things, and I didn't have a lot of mentors to help guide me in the right direction. Often bullied in school, which made me feel like I didn't belong anywhere that I went. Right, I didn't feel comfortable enough to um, build up the confidence to learn more about myself and what I was meant to do. And it was hard for me to see myself as someone who was worthy of love and support and someone who could gain opportunities that would allow them to achieve great things in life. To cope with these feelings of inadequacy and insecurity, I turned to my imagination and video games. I was able to enter into worlds of fantasy where I was able to escape the harsh reality of the negative emotions I was facing. I also turned to, eating as a way to cope, right? And filling in that empty void that could never be filled with food, but as someone young and not knowledgeable about how to best honor themselves and treat themselves and know that they were worthy of more, right? That was something that I did in order to escape. But as I got older, I started to realize that escaping my reality wasn't something that felt right anymore. I think around high school when I turned 16 or 17, like around when I was a junior and senior in high school, I started to understand that I needed to become someone who stepped into the idea that I had of myself, right? That I was to become a more confident person that could actually achieve things, right? That actually could do things that could be worth something. And I'm not saying that your worth should be tied into the things that you can do in this world, but I think that um, finding that purpose that allows you to better understand your relationship to other things and your relationship to the other people in your life, I think is really important. I think that when often we start to, feel these negative emotions and have a complicated relationship with our mental health because we don't truly understand how we can look outside of ourselves to have a purpose and a passion that we are pursuing actively, whether it be towards capitalism or not, right? Making money or not. I think that whatever that you love to do is something that we need to pursue in life, right? And that is what truly gives us fulfillment. And now that I'm 26, thinking back to when I was 16, I really thought that I would be further along on my journey. But I think that the important thing to note with journeys is that they go at your own pace, right? It's not about getting to these milestones at a certain age. It's about what feels right to you in the moments that you're living in, right? I think that when we have conversations around talking about finding our purpose, we often get caught in the future, right? And I think that when we're always thinking about the future, we can never be present within our own lives. We can never enjoy the precious moments that we have within our own present. And I think that staying present, right, and honoring your past, but also being optimistic about the future allows us to be centered within ourselves on a daily basis. By taking small steps every day to work towards that purpose and passion, I think moves us much closer to where we need to be. And I think that it allows us to feel better about where we are in our current situation, right? Because at the moment, we could be someone, who's broke, right? You could be someone who feels like they haven't hit their milestones yet, right? But with when we're able to stay consistent and when we're able to have that vision, right? But also enjoying where we are now and being grateful for the opportunities that we have now, I think that we'll feel much better about and be much more effective at getting to the places that we want to be while also staying happy in the present. The second part of this journey is truthfully looking at our current situation and being honest with ourselves as to where we're at, right? And in doing so, we're taking an honest life assessment. So, a part of this honest life assessment is to assess what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what we need to improve in our lives, and what we're grateful for. I know that personally, I'm good at a lot of things, right? But I also need to be real with myself as to where I struggle, right? So I know I'm good at focusing in and being able to see the different tasks I need to accomplish in order to get to where I need to be. But I know I struggle with execution, right? So I need to better understand where those struggles are, right? Why am I procrastinating? Why would I rather do these things than to get to where I want to be in life? Right. And I think that also looking at what you're grateful for, right? I'm grateful, even though I may be, still a student at the age of 26, right? Which is not common, right? I'm still grateful for the opportunity to be able to learn, right? Not many people around the world even have the opportunity, right? For them, employment is all they know, right? Education, especially higher education, is not accessible to them, right? So I think that for me personally, being grateful for having a roof over my house, right? Me being able to provide for myself and for me to be able to pursue this education that will allow me economic mobility is something that I should be grateful for, right? And for yourself, look at those things, right? What are you good at? What do you struggle with, right? What are you grateful for? And then find ways to improve on the things that you struggle with. Take some time to reflect on your values and priorities. Start to understand what's most important to you. What are your current goals for the future? And start to understand how your current actions are aligning or misaligned with those goals, right? And in doing so, we're able to create a clear path for us to make the decisions and actions that align with that purpose, right? I know that for me, I want to work towards creating more resilient and safer communities for the people that have been marginalized, right? And I think that for me, I have to start looking at are my current actions reflecting my ability to be able to get to that point, right, where I'm accomplishing those goals. And I think for all of us, we have to really look at what it is that we truly value, right? And if that is something you actually value, if those are the things that make up who you are and make you happy and joyful to be a part of a community or to contribute to something, right? That's something that you have to prioritize, right? And start breaking down those steps to understand how to get to that point, right? And achieving those goals. Another important aspect of an honest life assessment is truly understanding your habits and patterns, right? The patterns in your life are the things that are dictating what those habits, long-term habits, are going to be, right? So, are there habits in your life that work towards your betterment, right? That work towards you being more successful and achieving your goals, or are there habits that you have that are holding you back from accomplishing those things, right? I know that for me, a big personal goal that I have is being able to lose weight and look and feel like I, imagine myself looking and feeling, right? Which is much more better and much more physically fit than I am. And I think that a part of that is looking at my eating habits, right? And my looking at my physical, my patterns of physical activity. And for me, that has looked like, not eating as healthily, not eating healthy, and not, being serious or intentional about physical activity. And something that I've done to change that around is working out 5 times a week, right? And I've locked in and committed myself, and making, that decision on a daily basis to get up in the morning and to work out, regardless of whether I have a gym, whether I have weights, right? Whether I have someone who's like, cheering me on and motivating me to lock in and doing something for myself, changing my habits, right? Not only for physical activity, right, but for a healthier diet, right? I've made sure that I've cut, a lot of sugar and salt out of my diet, as well as, getting groceries that are more um, on the side of like fruits and vegetables, right? Instead of getting so much meat or bread or cheese, right? And dairy, but making sure that I'm eating, whole food diet. Also, look at your limiting beliefs, right? About yourself and the world. What are some of those beliefs that hold you back, and that discourage you from being the person that you truly want to be, right? From doing the things that you imagine yourself doing, right? And these can look like I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, right? I don't look good enough, right? Or I will never find a partner, or whatever these things are, whatever area in your life that you have these beliefs in. It's important to change the frame of these conversations or these thoughts that you're having with yourself and with other people, right? If you're saying to yourself, I am not worthy of feeling joy within my everyday life, right? You have to reframe those thoughts, right? You have to start to understand that you do deserve joy, you do deserve love, you do deserve to be supported in your life, right? And I think that reframing these thoughts that you're having, right, these limiting beliefs that you uphold in your everyday thinking and thoughts, right, is important in us being able to dismantle these ideas that, whether we were taught when we were young, or whether, are being reflected within our adult life or our current situation, right? That we need to stop being so deconstructive and negative with ourselves, right? You are someone who deserves, gentleness. You deserve softness, right? You deserve affirmations, and support. And I think that where that starts is with yourself, right? What are you telling yourself? Replacing these thoughts, right, with much more productive, constructive, and empowering ones allows us to feel better about taking the steps to move forward. The last part of this honest life assessment, is to reflect on your past and to plan for your future, right? What are the things that you have done in your past that have shaped your current situation, right? How have you planned out certain things to ensure, you're effective or successful, in doing whatever you want to do in the future? I think that when I look at the past, I have to honor myself for all the things that I have done, right? I think that when we start to create these negative narratives about, oh, how you haven't done enough, or how you procrastinated in this situation, and missed a certain opportunity, I think that it's better for you to um, empower yourself to think about all the great things that you have accomplished, right? I've done so much in my 26 years of living, right? And I have to understand that even though I'm not in the place that I thought I was going to be in, I've done so much to ensure that I've come a long way, right? And that every single day, every week, every month, every year, my goals are shifting and changing and evolving as I am as a person, right? And as the world is as a whole, right? We have to understand that our past might be complicated, right? I know that there are many mistakes that I've made in my life, but I think that it's more important to be better for the future, be better today and for tomorrow, right? Not to dwell on how you have done certain things in the past that you're not, the most proud of, but how you can be proud and do the things that you want um, today and for tomorrow. So the third part of this journey is the process of elimination. So we have to take some time to reflect on what we're truly passionate about, right? What do we care about deeply, and what are we truly willing to work hard for? If for you that's sustainability, right? Do you want to become someone who's in animal preservation? Do you want to protect forests? Do you want to become an ecologist, right? Do you want to do research? If that's finance, do you want to become an investor, a broker, an accountant? If that's the medical field, do you want to become a nurse, a doctor, right? Do you want to specialize in something like cardiology, right? It's truly thinning down the things that you are truly interested in and that you want to pursue, right? And I think that we these limiting beliefs that I talked about, right, would keep us from knowing who we are inherently, right? And that is a false idea. As people, as ourselves, we know exactly what we want, right? It may not be clear to us in every single moment, right? But if we take the time to reflect on those things, we can truly understand what they are. So, the fourth and final part of this journey is being able to stand on your 10 toes and follow through. So, standing on your 10 toes is a powerful metaphor for being able to take ownership over your own life, and it's your ability to shape your own destiny. It means that you are present within your own power and that you are willing to take the actions that are needed to achieve your goals, even if they seem impossible. A large part of this is taking agency over your own life, right? And that means your ability to do the things that are necessary in order to get to where you need to be. Your agency is what's going to allow you to make those difficult choices, right? It's going to allow you to direct your own life in the direction that you set it in. It's going to allow you to make things happen, right? It's going to allow you to start tackling those life goals of yours, those milestones. And it's going to allow you to be the cause rather than effect to the things around you. In this process of standing on your 10 toes and following through, you act with purpose and intention. You understand that your actions have to be aligned with your goals and your values, and that you're doing what is necessary to make sure that your vision turns into your reality. I know that for me over winter break that I could have done what I usually do during breaks, which is play video games all day or watch movies all day to, pass the time and to, wait until the school year starts. But I think that a difference that I have done for a couple of the most recent breaks that I've taken is that I'm setting aside time to make sure that I want to be able to pay for school without having to worry about my finances, right? So I've been taking every single day to apply for scholarships, right? I think that now I've applied to like at least 80 scholarships over the break, right? I've wanted to learn more about urban planning, even outside of the classroom, right? So I've made sure that I've watched YouTube videos or, go onto different websites to learn more about different equitable urban planning initiatives and campaigns and projects that will give me the knowledge to be a much better urban planner moving towards my graduation and then working professionally, right? Even when it came to, I've talked about my fitness journey, right? So ever since like, I think a week before New Year's, I've been intentional about working out 5 times a week. And that is not going to change, right? That is a habit, right, that I'm trying to form. right? A habit for me has been sleeping, and being on my phone, scrolling through TikTok, right? But I think a much better use of my time is to learn, right? If I'm committing myself to being a lifelong learner, right, I have to learn on a daily basis, right? I've even, started learning 3 different languages, right? So I'm using the app Duolingo to learn Spanish, Japanese, and Swahili, right? I think that being able to communicate with a lot of different people across the globe is really important, right? So I've taken languages from all around the world to be able to learn so that I can better communicate with people and I can challenge myself to doing something that I've set out. Right. So those are goals of mine, right? To become a better urban planner, to learn languages, to become a more healthy person so that I can live longer and pursue my passions for a much longer time. Right. And I think that having all those things set up and taking those actions when I could be doing something else, right, is setting myself up for success. Through all of this, through all of these different actions, I'm embracing my full potential, right? I know that I can achieve great things. I know that if I set my mind to something, if I want a leadership role, if I want an opportunity, that I have to do what's necessary, right? No one else is going to be like, oh, well, hey, Tendahi, are you, doing what you need to do, right? I need to be that person that is stepping into who I am going to become, right? Because I want and I have a vision for the future for myself. And if I ever want that vision to become reality, like I said, right, I have to do those things, right? And even though it may seem like, oh, it's too much work, I don't really want to do this today, or, I want to I want to just play video games and do whatever I want, right? Setting yourself on a schedule can be, difficult. You don't really want to fit yourself into this rigid schedule of doing all these different things and overwhelming yourself, right? But I think that if you balance that out with, playing a video game during break isn't going to kill you, right? But I think that taking time to do things that are much more important to your future and much more important to changing your current situation, if you want to improve your current situation, right? Taking those steps are vital. As we come to an end to this video, I want to remind you that stepping into your purpose is a journey that takes time and effort. But if you take the small steps that are needed to get to the places where you need to be, you will be able to develop the confidence to be proud of who you are. We talked about building up your self-worth, right? So knowing who you are, what you want, right? And that you are worthy of much more than you believe that you are, right? We talked about an honest life assessment where we're being honest with ourselves and analyzing all the different things in our lives that are working and are not working, right? We talked about the process of elimination where we're looking at those things that we've assessed and seeing and eliminating the things that don't work, right? That aren't aligning with our future, right? Whether that be a pattern that leads up to a habit, right? Whether that be bad habits that we've had, whether it be bad partners or, family members or friends in our lives that have not been the best to us and that have not been, conducive to a constructive environment where we're able to have more confidence in ourselves and take the steps that are needed to get to the places we want to be, right? And then we also talked about standing on our 10 toes and following through, right? So not just assessing, right? Not just eliminating, but following through with what we had planned, right? And all that planning we're doing is important because we can now have a guide to where we want to go and how we can get there. Thank you for tuning in to my first video, and I hope that the content was relatable and helpful on your journey to being able to find your own purpose and building up your self-worth. In the comment section below, leave a comment about what you're stepping into in 2023. As a new YouTube channel, I would appreciate and be honored if you subscribed. And I'm excited for the opportunity to continue to share my own journey and helping out other people reach their full potential and find their purpose in life. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace.